We have to talk about those baskets because the way Robinson putts, he's such a good putter. His pace is perfect. He doesn't have that same fire it in there like Gannon. I want to know your thoughts, Ronnie, first on what you thought of these Prodigy baskets.
Well, they didn't show themselves in a very good light over this weekend. I think I saw, look, nobody likes to give veterans a harder time than I do. But these things made veterans look like vacuums this weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome in to episode number 16 of the Players Meeting, a Win Dummies production. Tonight's show is not just going to be a good one, it's going to be a great one. I'm your host, Lucas Deal, and tonight we're going to dive in to a pretty darn good weekend of disc golf at the Preserve. We have quite a bit of storylines to cover and even some history being made on the women's side. The boys are going to weigh in on who they think is the player of the year thus far on the men's side. Make sure you tune in next week when we will unveil who they think is the player of the year on the women's side. As always, we're going to take a look at our picks from the Preserve, and Survivor League 3.0 has just begun. Cannot wait to update you on that. If you didn't know, you can search the words Win Dummies anywhere you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, etc. If you want to see this absolutely beautiful face, you can, of course, tune in to our YouTube and watch us with the video. But please make sure you subscribe. All right, enough of me yapping. Let's bring in the real stars of the show. The one-time world champ, Chris Smith, a.k.a. Smitty, and the Step Pup Master, Mr. Ronnie Unruh. Good evening, fellas.
How you guys doing?
What's going on?
I'm good. I'm just ready to get into this action. I just want to talk about this tournament. It was a good tournament.
Yeah, dude, it was exciting. Clear to the last hole.
Yeah. So let us just start where we always start. What's poppin'? What's been happening around the world of disc golf? All right, so this weekend we had the Preserve. And on the ladies' side, Missy Gannon was on the very first group out, and she lit the course up from the start, shooting a bogey-free, 1037 rated, 10 under. Holland Hanley rode the momentum of her first real win and shot an 8 down, and that was 1022 rated. Owen Scoggins, who found a way to squeeze in a whole world title on her way from Oregon, also kept a clean scorecard and snagged a spot on the lead card with a 6 down. And look at that. Maria Oliva decided to bring her bag to Minnesota, and she tied Owen at 6 under and rounds out the lead card going into round 2. So these ladies truly shot phenomenally. They win a combined 55 of 62 from Circle 1. That's 89%. Maria carded the only 2 bogeys of the 4 of these ladies when she threw out of bounds on both 14 and 18. So awesome performance from all of them. But I have a question. We got to see on that lead card, or the feature card, I should say, a Katrina Allen sighting, a very pregnant Katrina Allen sighting. And it was crazy to see her out there. I mean, she was looking like that baby could pop out at any moment. Smitty, what did you think of her shaking things up while being that pregnant?
Man, I can't even imagine doing that. I can hardly play after eating a cheeseburger from McDonald's. I couldn't imagine having a baby, she's 8 months pregnant. So she's getting really, really, really close.
She's as far as Kendra is. Yeah.
She played well. She beat some people. She, spoiler alert, she beat Paige Pierce by a stroke. So, yeah, dude, I don't know how she did. I mean, she should be glad she wasn't in Kansas where it was 127 million degrees outside.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I saw where she said she's maybe planning on going to Minnesota Majestic.
Des Moines.
After the no, she's talking about playing the Majestic between now and when the baby happens.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Which is probably next weekend, right?
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, super crazy. On the men's side, the entire men's field put on a show, shooting 1,000 rated disc golf, found you in a tie for 72nd place. So if you shot 1,000, you're in 72nd. Leading all of the men was a trio of 1079 rated rounds. These were 14 under. The way they reached the top was a little different. Callaway kept it clean off the tee, avoiding OB and hitting 18 of 18 fairways. He was great on and around the green, also making 12 of 13 C1X and 2 of 3 Circle 2, including a 67-footer on hole 12. Callaway also carded an eagle on the 942-foot 18th. Now, Radalin played this a little bit different because he sprayed it off the tee, finding OB twice, but relied on the strength of a hot putter going perfect in C1X on 14 attempts. Kyle Klein, K2, as we like to call him here at the Win Dummies, only had 9 putts from C1X, making 2 of them, but K2 used C2 putting to find himself at the top. He was able to go 3 of 5 with a long bomb from 55 feet to grab a share of the lead. And making the lead card at the bottom there was Isaac Robinson, who put 14 drives in C1 in regulation and converted all of those attempts. Isaac did suffer an OB stroke on 13 that kept him from sharing the lead after round 1, but they were shredding. What I want to talk about, though, is who was not shredding, finding himself all the way back in 92nd place with a 971 rated 1 over round was McBeast. Paul Macbeth, all the way back there. Ronnie, tell me your thoughts about McBeast falling all the way back there, as he is your world's go-to guy.
He didn't take advantage of the conditions they had for that opening round. I mean, the majority of the field just went out there and shredded. As you can see on the scorecard, Paul too many. But what you can't do at the preserve is make bogeys. There's really not very many holes on that course where bogey is not just going to drop you like a rock down the leaderboard. And you can see Paul had 5 or 6 of them. So yeah, I mean, pretty easy to see what happened with.
I don't know what's going on with that dude, man, but I hope he gets it figured out. We saw glimpses of good disc golf out of him in the last few weeks, but even his second round where he shot 9 down, he only had 3 pars because he either birdied or bogeyed everything. So I don't know if he's just playing super aggressive or what he's got going on, but man, hope he can get it figured out.
There's definitely been a lot of that. Most of that's happened in final rounds where he's really trying just a little too much want has kind of cost him at some of these recent events. But just some uncharacteristically uneven play from Paul. Just far too many bogeys. But you can see it, like you said, you see it in glimpses. You see it in 10, 12, 14 hole stretches, and then all of a sudden something weird happens. You're just having a real hard time getting it from T1 to basket 18 without having something silly happen to it. Just can't put a round together for some reason.
Yeah, and I also want to mention KJ USA, brand new sponsor, Innova. Now, he started playing really, really well. Really, he hasn't played much better than this all year. Ronnie, tell me what you think about KJ now with Innova, and should we see a different KJ?
Well, let's just look at the folks who have, I'm not here to disparage any one brand or another, right? But let's just look at the folks who have moved away from Prodigy. It's been a pretty good move for their careers if we're looking at it without any bias. I mean, Gannon Burr was obviously a great player as a Prodigy player as well, but now he's, in my opinion, clearly the best player in our sport, day in and day out. And Gavin Babcock's having a great season. If you just look it up and down the lineup, I mean, there's folks that are really
But then again, you look at the Robinson boys. The Robinson boys are a prodigy, and they're two of the best players on the planet. So, personally, I think this is a good move for Kevin. And like I've said before, I think disc golf is better when Kevin Jones is good, and I hope that he's going to trend back upward to being one of the top players in the game.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe it wasn't. Maybe Kevin Jones wasn't spending as much time in the practice field as he should have been previously. Now he's got this whole new bag of tricks, so he's got to figure out what they do. So he's playing a little bit more than he was. I don't know. I mean, that's just my speculation. I have no insight. Kevin Jones and I aren't Facebook buddies or anything. So,
well, let us look at round number 2 with the ladies. We saw the ladies racing to the finish because there was threat of lightning delays that could halt the round. Lucky for all competitors, the storm dodged the course and play continued throughout the day. No delays. Hanley started out hot, catching and passing Missy on the front half of the course. Missy gathered herself at the turn, grabbing birds on 10, 11, and 12 before pawing to the house to end the day, 2 ahead of Holland Hanley. Neither lady was great around the basket in round 2. Missy went 6 for 9 for 67%, while Hanley went 9 of 12 for 75%. Lucky Lawrenson, however, didn't see a putt that she did not like. She hit 15 of 15 from circle 1 to race up the leaderboard and find herself 3 back of the leaders going into Championship Sunday on the strength of the only 1,000 rated round in the field. So good shooting by her. Also on that lead card, Owen, she had a very tough round, carding a double bogey with the help of an OB stroke on 10 and some very uncharacteristic putting, as she only was 10 of 14, 71% from circle 1. So I don't know if people were rushing because of the storms or what have you, but that's how round 2 played out. Now, I do have a question, though. Smitty, this is for you. I don't know if you tuned into that DG and Pro and the walk with the players and how the camera was on them and the mic was on them more as they walked. What did you think about that?
yeah, I don't know if that's a new thing or if I just haven't watched it on Pro or what. But yeah, I don't know if I cared for it. I'd rather them, if they can, shoot over to another card and show me some action. I feel like there was a couple of times where something could be said that could get him in trouble, could ruffle some feathers, hurt some feelings. Holland actually did drop a couple of F-bombs. So I don't know, man. I mean, they're people, right? Just like us. We're going to talk like that on the course probably, but they're just being broadcasted out. Maybe they got to realize that and go with it. Maybe that's just part of sports. But yeah, I don't care what they ate, who likes sauce on their steak. That was one of the things I heard they were talking about, steak sauce, and I don't care. One bit. I just want to watch some disc golf.
All right, that's fair. Ronnie, anything to add on that? Did you get a chance to see it?
I didn't get a chance to see it actually, but I've seen it happen in multiple other sports. I mean, there's a novelty for the first couple of minutes of it, maybe a little peek behind the curtain, but those conversations like Smitty's just talking about usually devolve into something that honestly you really don't care much about. And I would probably I'm like Smitty, I'd probably rather be watching somebody putt on the group in front or whoever's hot on the golf course rather than listen to them talk about whether they like Heinz 57 or A1 on their steak, So that's I'm kind of with Smitty on that one.
Yeah, now that they have that feature hole, generally there's going to be somebody on there to be putting or driving or something, so that maybe eventually they'll get a little more better at cutting to the action. But yeah, I don't want to see him. I want to see him talk. Lucas, let's hear about the dudes.
Let's move in to the dudes. Here we go. So the men, I will tell you, they absolutely shredded the preserve. 7 dudes going 10 down or more. The hottest of all was Mr. Matty O, throwing for first downs early on his way to an outstanding 12 down, 1073 rated that vaulted him up the leaderboard. When the dust settled, we found K2 at the top after shooting an 11 down, 1067 rated round. And as Kyle often does, it's nothing flashy, just solid disc golf, a single bogey, and his longest made putt of only 25 feet. Kyle would love to shoot another boring 11 down on Sunday. Isaac Robinson showed true grit. He threw the disc amazingly, finding himself in circle 1 in regulation 14 of 18 holes, and C2 in regulation on all but 3 holes. Robinson went 11 of 13 from inside the circle with the only 2 misses, a couple of the worst spits of the year. Both putts had perfect pace and were dead in the heart. We'll get into that in just a second. Old Raptor legs Ricky Wysocki and the Iceman Gannon Buhr will round out the leaderboard on Sunday, setting up what is going to be another exciting finish to a DGPT event. Rick showed once again why he is considered to be one of the best scramblers of all time, as he went 100% in 2 attempts. He also was a crazy 6 of 6 from C1X, as bullseyes don't contribute to C1 putting stats. Gannon also had a low number of C1X opportunities, going 7 of 7. Biggest difference is Buhr wasn't parking them. He was just banging them from downtown, as he was able to go 5 of 10 from C2, his longest from 59, and all the others were from 39. We have to talk about those baskets, because the way Robinson putts, he's such a good putter. His pace is perfect. He doesn't have that same fire it in there like Gannon. I want to know your thoughts, Ronnie, first on what you thought of these Prodigy baskets.
Well, they didn't show themselves in a very good light over this weekend. I think I saw, look, nobody likes to give veterans a harder time than I do. But these things made veterans look like vacuums this weekend. These things were terrible. You're right. You were talking about Isaac. Isaac, in my opinion, might be the best pure putter in the world, between just the lines he takes and the speed he puts them in with. That guy shouldn't be spitting anything. And he had 2 of the dirtiest ones I've seen all season on putts that had no business coming back at him. And he wasn't the only one. We saw it multiple times on feature card coverage this weekend. And those things, I tell you what, I hope they don't put those in at my home course.
I've never played on them. I don't know what they're really like. I don't know. Maybe, this is one week where Gannon didn't have a lot of spits. Anything that he missed was outside of the pole. So maybe these ones are more accepting of fired putts. But come on, man. If I could putt every putt like those 2 that spit for Isaac Robinson, I would be one happy disc golfer. Those things were perfect. And yeah, it's I don't know if you saw the Jomez short where Yuli and Big Germ were talking, but I guess Yuli didn't know what was going on hole 4, and Isaac had a terrible spit there last year. It was a bad one. Just slow motion, just like this one. And Yuli's like, oh, I wonder if this dude is like having PTSD from last year. And he putted, and of course Jomez is filming them doing the commentary, and that thing spit through, and Yuli about fell out of his chair and crawled up on Big Germ. Those dudes were just busting a gut, man. It was hilarious. But yeah, that was those things are bad. Have you played on them before, Ronnie?
I've never played on them, man. I got to be honest, I'm not itching to do so.
Yeah. Lucas, have you messed with them?
No, I've never seen them either. So let's keep them there and nowhere else.
Keep them in the South, baby, and in Minnesota.
Yeah, I didn't love it. But I do want to ask about a few other things that happened second round. We have to talk about Mattio's performance, because hot round, 12 down, he got into 6th place after that round, and just outside, he's going to be on chase card going into final round Sunday. Smitty, what do you think of Mattio's performance there? First down.
That dude is so awesome. Such a unique individual, such a unique game, fan favorite, just hilarious. And once again, man, if you haven't watched Jomez, watch Jomez round 3, because with Matteo on the chase card, all of the you know how this year they're featuring other players. Every hole you get to see Matteo's third round, even though he's not on the lead card. And my God, I was busting the gut at Yuli and Big Germ again just because they could not hold a straight face, man. They were dying. It was the best thing I've seen in a long time. It was so fun to watch. But yeah, I love that dude. Second round was great. Great. We didn't see much of it. A little bit on the coverage, but I think he didn't shoot great the first round, so I think he was out pretty dang early.
When we did our super golfer or whatever it was a couple episodes ago, I mean, Matteo was my pick for the swag. I mean, that dude is just he's the only Matteo in a sport where so many of them, we've even made fun of this. How many of them look the same, act the same, play the same? You see Matteo play, and you can be 3 fairways over, and know who you're watching, right? And the energy and the charisma and the uniqueness that he brings to the sport, man, makes him. He's the people's champ, man. Who doesn't love Matteo?
Yeah, Yuli had an awesome comment about him. He said, "Could you imagine if you walked out to your local league for the first time ever and you flipped up and got Matteo and you see this dude doing all these antics after every throw and you're like, what the heck is going on here, man?"
Sunglasses flying off the face.
Yeah.
Not anymore, dude. He's got a strap.
I don't think did he have the strap this week? Because I saw him come down a bunch.
Oh yeah. Well, they're going to come down to here.
Yeah, they don't go all the way off anymore.
But he's got that catch strap.
I love that dude.
Ronnie, let's talk about Ben Callaway. I have multiple reasons to talk to you about Ben Callaway, but after the first round, he's in the lead. He shoots it even round 2 and kind of just takes himself out of it. What did you think about his play on a feature card this weekend?
Yeah, it was certainly disappointing and hard to see, man, because it kind of started going sideways on him, and he just couldn't figure out a way to turn it around. And unfortunately, Ben's one of those guys that I really pull for because he's been out there doing it for so long, and he's never quite got that horse to the finish line. And then the heartbreak that happened to Jonesboro this year for him, and I just fear now that the pressure is really, since that Jonesboro, I think the pressure is mounting on him, and you could sense it on that second round when he popped off for that crazy one on opening Friday, and then just didn't have it. Just didn't have it on Saturday. And you just wonder if he's trying. He's got a little too much try, a little too much want, and it's starting to hold him back.
Yeah, I think we've all played enough disc golf to know that when things are going well, like they were for Ben Callaway the first round, things are going to go well. You're going to throw bad shots and they're going to stay safe. You're going to have putts that shouldn't stick that do. You're just going to get all the breaks. And then we've had the opposite round, the same one that he had on Saturday, that you're just a little bit off and you get punished. And it's real easy on that first round to ignore those things that are going good and not accept them and just be like, oh, yeah. But when it's going the other way and things are going bad, and then it just starts snowballing, and then you lose confidence. And you could see that dude was shook and broken towards the end of that second round for sure. Yeah, which is too bad because I'm like you, Ronnie. I want to see him do well, and just because he's been at it for so dang long, and yeah, he's an old timer.
Ben at it. I see what you did.
Not on purpose, but I'll take it.
Yeah, that's a good call out. It's good when it's going good, man. But when it's turned sideways on you, just all of the little stuff that happens to you, you magnify it in your own mind, and you start becoming your own enemy. And yeah, I agree with you, dude. Those last 5 holes, there was no place in the world. That dude would have rather been anywhere in the world than on that golf course. Those last 5 holes, he looked like someone that had lost their puppy, dude. That dude he looked down as I've ever seen a guy on a lead card.
All right, well let's talk about final round, women's side. Once again, Handley was hot on the front nine, taking a one-stroke lead at the turn and looking like she was in control. Coming down the stretch, she found trouble on 14, then again on 15. Missy gave her a chance to possibly snag 2 on 17, but yet another errant drive sealed the deal and allowed Gannon to cruise to an easy victory. I do want to mention Rebecca Cox. She had the hot round, final round, and moved up 3 places to grab herself a podium finish. So there's a couple things on the ladies' side that I want to talk about here, fellas. The first one being Holland Handley. All right, we talked last week about how clutch she was. She made those incredible putts. And we talked about, hey, would this win help domino into the next event? And from everything I saw, it looks like Holland threw this one away in the back nine. Smitty, tell me if I'm wrong.
No, you nailed it. I mean, it's the same thing we just talked about with Ben. It was going south and it was snowballing on her, and I thought we were going to lose her, dude. I thought she was going to sit down and cry. She looked very vulnerable, and yeah, I mean, there's no other way to explain it, but she blew it. Even on 17, when Missy was going to for sure take a 4 and Holland could have snagged 2 strokes, she let it go early and was in a bad spot. And then she left her putt at the edge of circle. And at this point, she knew it was over, so she didn't really care. And she drained that sucker. But dude, it was not fun to watch. It wasn't pretty. It's kind of like watching Survivor to see who could make it to the end without dying.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it was pretty on either side. I think Missy had, just to go OB left on hole 17. What the heck?
Well, it happened on that one.
Happened more than what we know, yeah. So, Ronnie, what did you think of the play coming down the stretch by both of the ladies?
Man, and kind of allude to it, we thought that Holland had kind of turned this corner a little bit, and maybe she still has. Who knows, right? I guess we can't let a small sample size like this weekend kind of deter us, but she was anything but clutch coming down the stretch, and both the second and third round, like the front nine, she looked like she was a world beater. Like she might just run away and hide both times. And both times she came back to Missy and let Missy pass her. And then, just some real not good mistakes coming down the stretch. So while Missy didn't do a ton to go win it either late, I think we found that, even on a course like that where there's a lot of birdies to be had, and we'll talk about it again here at the men's, you can birdie everything on that back nine, but there's some stuff to trip you out too. So yeah, Holland was another one kind of like Ben. Those last few holes, she looked like she could just run away and cry somewhere. So it was kind of hard to watch.
I think that when our European ladies come back over, these chicks I don't know if they have a chance, man. So
I'll tell you what, I'm kind of ready for it, to be honest with you, man. Give me a little Kristen and Henna and Evelina, and maybe we can see some better golf, and obviously Silva Saarinen, what she's doing over there on the European tour right now. This kind of golf ain't going to beat her, I don't think. So, yeah, I'm ready to see the European. I'm ready to see the tours join up again.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to talk about Paige Pierce this week. We all jumped on that bandwagon like, oh, yeah, Paige is back. And, she didn't finish too hot. She finished in 21st place. She still made cash. She did become the first woman to surpass 400,000 career earnings. So kudos to her for that. But she didn't want to do it on a 21st place finish after, just winning. Is Paige back? Was that a fluke? What's going on?
Well, apparently she's not all the way back. I can't say it's a fluke. She's a tremendous talent and the greatest female player I've ever seen up to this point. I mean, Kristen is knocking on that door for sure. so I'm not going to call it a fluke. But dadgummit, man, we were all rooting for her. We were
ready.
excited to see her. We were ready to see her just dominate. I don't know what happened. We didn't see any of it. She was on lead card the first round, but I don't know, man.
I think we just have to realize that whether it's the women's side or the men's side, say for what Gannon Burr is doing right now, which she's a freak talent. I think we could all, say that. There's not going to be any Paul Macbeth or Kim Climo type runs going. That's not going to happen anymore. So I think Paige is back, but I think she's also someone who it didn't go great for early on in the week. And she was a professional. She finished the week. She made sure she got in the money. But I mean, even for as much we're talking about Holland and Missy maybe not looking great going down the stretch. I mean, they were still 20 under par. I mean, they still played, they still killed it for the week, and you can't do that anymore on tour. Paige isn't going to fake her way to winning anymore. She's not going to be able to have off weeks and even compete anymore. But I think that goes for everybody out there. I think the days of having a player really dominate the tour are going to be, a thing of the past, with the exception of some of these freak generational type talents like a Gannon Burr or something like that.
1,000%. Well, let's jump into the men's side and talk a little bit about that final round, which was a darn good one. These dudes gave us exactly what we hoped for. Rick, K2, Gannon, Isaac Robinson, all trading blows starting on hole 1. And now while the lead card battle was going on, Matty O was on a heater himself on the chase card, stringing together 8 birds in a row. Hole 13 was a pivotal point in the round. Gannon and Robinson both carded 5s. This put Isaac in a tough spot and all but ended Gannon's chances to win. But then Isaac kicked it into high gear. He birdied 14 through 16 to find himself right back in the mix. The show on the green was sensational. Rick was 100% in circle 1 and also made putts of 67, 57, 50 feet. Dude was incredible. Matty O also had an incredible putting performance, going 100% in circle 1 on 8 attempts, making 4 of 6 from C2. It was an awesome battle. And honestly, on 18, Kyle had to throw in a shot to potentially make Ricky have to make his putt. And he almost put that sucker in for, what would that have been? A albatross?
Albatross.
Yeah. So just a really super duper fun round. We have to talk about Ricky. Let's talk Ricky. What is it about Ricky that gets it done in those clutch moments? Is it his experience? Is it that he's just a clutch player and it's ingrained in him to rise to those occasions? Or is it something else? Ronnie, what do you think? Tell me about Rick.
I think the short answer is yes to everything you just said.
All of the above.
I mean, like I said before, I think in my opinion, he's the 3rd greatest player in the history of our sport, behind the two that far outweigh everyone else. Ricky he's one of those generational talents, and he's a dog, man. Don't give him a sniff, because he kind of got buried a little bit, and we had some people on our show started talking about people are out of it, and this person's done and that person's done. And man, that's one dude you better absolutely nail in the coffin, bury him in 6 feet of dirt, and start laying sod over the top, because if you don't, he's going to do what he did, man. He caught a little whiff, and the shark was ready to get him, and that's what he did, man. He's in the energy, and I think a lot of what you're talking about is just the energy that he brings. He gets the whole crowd behind him, and it pulls him right along, man. He's unbelievable. I love watching Ricky play.
Yeah. Now, Smitty, before you go into your thoughts on this, I do want to just bring in another side of this. Do you think that these courses where they have these like viewing places like they do at the Preserve, and Rick hits a big shot on that, do you think that just energizes Rick even more to do what he does?
Oh, dude, Rick said that in every press conference, it's always momentum, momentum, momentum. And that dude is the master at creating his own momentum. You know, he's kind of like Tiger Woods in a way that when he makes one, he is not afraid to let everybody around know, yeah. And he had a couple of fist pumps that, whoo, if I'd been on that card, I probably would have put my tail between my legs and ran off, dude. I mean, that guy he was incredible. And he has won an NT Pro Tour, Disc Golf Pro Tour event, whatever the biggest tour is, 14 years in a row. He has won an event at one of those for 14 years. Think about
Wild.
that.
That's
That is a long time. He was tied with Paul going in. Paul's done it 13 years in a row. So Rick's the current leader. But man, that's a long time to be that dominant, that awesome. But you know, he's different than Matty-O. They're both, and Simon. Those three are probably three of the biggest fan favorites just because of what they do. I mean, they're phenomenal disc golfers, but what they do outside of the shot making is awesome too. You know, everybody loves Simon because he just seems like he's just one of us. He's just out there goofing around, having fun. Everybody loves Matty-O because he's hilarious. The things that he does have nothing to do with disc golf, but god dang it, they are funny. Absolutely funny. And then Rick is just intensity, boy. And
yeah.
it's so much fun to watch. So much fun. And yeah, I can't hear it. His name's gonna come up here in a little bit, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. It could.
He's got a lot of that Tiger Woods effect, right? He just people come out to watch him, and he utilizes his skills to get them going, and then the momentum that they give to him, it just pushes him even further. Yeah, he's unbelievable. He's we get on Doss because every once in a while Doss will say something about he needs to like tone it down a little bit or something like that. No, give me more.
Yeah.
Give me more. I want to see it. And Rick plays better when Rick is that guy.
Yeah. And kind of like Smitty said, if he's not doing that, I mean, he does get that motivation to himself. Like he does that stuff to get himself going. It's just like a jump start, like a cardiac arrest. You're shocking him up to life. So I love that stuff too. I think it's really fun for the game. Doss just needs to settle down. Let's talk about someone, Smitty, that you just mentioned. I'm going to give you this question, Smitty, but Matty-O was 21st after the first round. He clawed back the next 2 days and shot hot rounds to get into a podium finish, which is absolutely disgusting. But correct me if I'm wrong. But does this seem like that kind of is the Matty-O formula? He's always close to winning, but he doesn't win. I looked back over the last 5 years, minus the Silver Series win at Stratford Open, he hasn't won on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Is that just the difference in the gear between the two?
He won Maple Hill last year.
He won a playoff.
So was that the DGP playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it must have been. It was late in the year. Yeah,
So,
he won Maple Hill.
So that was the DGP playoffs. I did see that, but I didn't think it was a real thing. Damn it. Okay, well that just ruins everything.
But no, I mean,
it doesn't ruin anything. That dude's a dog, man. But he, he's known to dig himself a little hole and then he just fight back out of it. And he's one slip on a tee pad away from possibly winning this thing. He slipped coming out on the par 5 and hit the tree and still saved a par, which he had no business saving, that sucker. But yeah, and Ronnie says it all the time, winning's hard. And Matty-O kind of plays an abbreviated tour. He's not playing all these stops. And,
Agreed.
Law of averages would say that the more you play, the better your chance at finally putting it all together at one event and getting the win is going to go up if you play more events. Ronnie, what do you think about Matty-O?
Yeah, I think that has something to do with it, right? He doesn't play, the full schedule every year, so his opportunities to win are limited to begin with, and it's hard to win on the disc golf pro tour. I mean, winning in the field with the fields that they have now is excruciatingly hard. And you talk about looking back at the last 5 years, Lucas. I mean, there's been a lot of pretty unbelievable players over the last 5 years, and that talent pool only gets larger, and it only gets even more difficult to win. I mean, you look at how well Rick's played to this point in the season, and this was the first time Ricky had won all year. Ricky hadn't won since this time almost last year, and you're talking about a guy that's a top five, a staple in the top five, and hadn't got across the finish line. So there's only so many events every year to have winners, and it's but to like you said, Smitty, I mean, there is times when you feel like Matty had an event won, and for some reason he doesn't win it, whether it's a little bit of shooting himself in the foot, or maybe he done too big of a hole going into the final round or something like that. But he's one of them guys, in my opinion. It's only a matter of time. He'll get another Pro Tour win, and who knows? It may even happen next week.
All right, that's fair. But on the women's side, I want to shout out a few performances this week. I could talk about Maria Oliva and her fourth place finish, tying her best for the season. But I want to talk about Kona Montgomery making her first top 10 since August of 2022. She's averaging 35th place in tournaments this year. She started very, very slow, to say the least. I know she had some surgery in the offseason. Do you think the women's side is better when Kona's playing, Ronnie?
I think this is also a perfect golf course for her to be able to compete on. She's an elite thrower, and Kale designed this golf course with minimal out of bounds in play. So, she's been known to take the big number. It's kind of one of her MO, and that's really not out there for the most part on this golf course, which kind of allows her to free up and play a little bit more wide open golf. So if she can do that, and just make a few putts, she's gonna figure out a way to have a good finish in an event like this.
I'm glad she did well. She's been through some crap, dude.
She has.
Battling thyroid cancer and whatever else, and the fact that she's been so terrible after signing this big contract has to weigh pretty hard on her and pretty heavy. I can't imagine the things that get posted on all of her social medias, and that's a big thing to her social media. I mean, she's that's it. That's her life. That's pretty much what signed her this big contract. I would say that and two good shots, but the three of us know people are, well, they're dicks, and I'm sure that she gets put up with a lot of crap. That, what is she, 22, 23, 24 maybe?
She's just a kid.
That nobody wants to deal with, let alone a kid that's their life. They've been in front of everything, and kudos to her for finally doing it right. And I think Ronnie nailed it. The golf course suited her well. She could throw it far and then live with the results. And it wasn't really a putter's course, probably for the ladies as much as it was for the men.
Who doesn't like a comeback story, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we're all rooting for her. I mean, that's the one good thing about this sport. There's very few people to root against, and there's not very much of it like there is in team sports. Individual sports kind of don't really lend themselves to that as much. Yeah. And especially when we have a situation like this where you have someone who's battled what she's went through, you're hoping for the best for her, and it'd be great to see her get back to what got her that big contract.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I'm super happy she played well. Speaking of playing well, one other performance I want to talk about is Rebecca Cox. She averaged 25th place last year, and she's averaging 8th this year. That's such a drastic turnaround. I know she's gone through several form changes and what have you, but what do you think of Rebecca Cox's performance thus far this year and the way she's kind of turned things around, Smitty?
She's a good thrower of the disc. She's kind of the same mold as Kona. This last round here at the Preserve, she was making some putts that were incredible. She ran one on the one death putt coming down the stretch that she probably I felt like she should have laid up because it's going to turn into a couple bonus strokes, but she nailed it. Once again, I don't think any of it's going to matter once the Euros come back. So it's going to be the Euros and probably Missy on their tails and probably Holland trying to mix it up with them. But she's great throwing the disc. She's really good off the tee.
Yep. Yeah, her putt is very, very hard and not always consistent, though. So I know how that goes. Ronnie, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's a fantastic improvement. I mean, that's a drastic improvement from 1 year to the next. Why is it? Who knows? I know she has gone through a lot of changes within her form and that kind of thing. But ultimately, here's the thing. I don't think Rebecca Cox can win on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I just don't think she's quite gifted enough on the putting green to get it done. And I don't think she's as gifted as someone like Henna from the tee, where one of these days Henna's going to just throw it so well. Henna's going to blow the field away because she parks 12 baskets a day.
Yeah.
I don't know that Rebecca Cox is that great of a thrower to overcome something like that. I think the putting holds her back, but I tell you what, man, 17 spot improvement on your average finish, that's remarkable. I mean, that's going from being a cash line fighter for the women to making some real money.
Yeah. Yeah. But those are really good points. And to be fair, she did get third place, but Missy was 6 strokes ahead of her. So I think to your point, you made a really valid point there. All right. Well, let's talk. Last thing on the men's side is let's talk McBeast. So a couple different stats I want to talk about with McBeast. He's someone we're always rooting for because he is disc golf to all of us. But this is his 4th missed cash this year. That is more total events missing cash, not counting DNFs, than the last 13 years combined. That's crazy. Ronnie, hearing that, what do you
I don't
think?
know which is a wilder stat.
Yeah.
That he's only missed the cash 4 times in the last 13 years, or that he's missed the cash 4 times this year. Here's the thing. Do we think if Paul was only playing to make the cash line that he would have a problem doing so? I just don't feel like that's at this point in his career, that's what Paul's looking to do, right? If he finds himself in a place where maybe he's battling for the cash line or something like that, he's just going to be going 100 miles an hour at everything, trying to work himself back up the leaderboard or whatever. I don't know. I just don't know that it's all that important to me.
I think it was he had missed cash twice in those 13 years. I think I saw the same thing somewhere, Statmando or something. And then for this year, that's incredible. Regardless, that's incredible. But Paul McBeth's not trying to make it into the cash. He's gonna be able to play all the tour events if he never cashes again.
Yeah.
Some of these dudes need to cash so they can get to the tour events. So
one more McBeth stat here. So
Man, you're beating my guy up, boy. You really do not want to see Paul succeed, dude.
I love Paul. I've already said I want to see him succeed, and this is actually complimenting him at the same time as telling you he's missed cash. But he missed cash, and Ricky earned $10,000 for the win in this one. All right, these two are the top in career earnings. Okay, McBeth is $748,000. Wysocki is $743,000. Wow. Do you think one of them reaches 1 million? Do you think the first to ever reach 1 million will be one of these two? Or do you think someone else is going to come in and swoop up $1 million first? That's a fun one, right?
That is a fun one. Yeah, that's some nice research. Ricky is definitely getting to $1 million in career earnings. No question in my mind. Um, will Paul's body allow him to do it? I don't know. Um, will his drive allow him to do it? I don't know. But the money is only getting exponentially greater. I mean, all it takes is winning a. I mean, how far are we away from a disc golf pro tour championship being $100,000 purse? I mean, that may happen for this year for all I know, right? The World Championships, I think, paid 20 or 30 or $40,000 to win last year. So, I mean, just those couple of events have astronomical prize funds, and those two guys, whether you think Paul's back or not, those two guys are among the favorites to win those every year, and I think Ricky is certainly gonna get to that number. What do you think, Smitty?
Yeah, I think Rick for sure will get there. Dude, I think if Paul continues along this current path that he's on, this might be it for him. I don't think he's the kind of guy to, tread water. But yeah, and like you said, like the Pro Tour finale, I think that Nathan Queen dude won 40,000 or something, 30,000, big there. I mean, there's a few purses out there that these guys can put a dent in that if they win it. So
that's the question. Does Ricky hit the million mark before one of these young guns who's getting all this crazy money? Do you think he hits it before they do?
Oh, he's got a pretty big head start.
He does.
And even if
the money's not that big yet.
Yeah. Even if he doesn't win, he's going to get second, third, fourth, and that's not chump change nowadays either.
Unless Gannonberger goes and wins everything for a couple of seasons, which I guess at this point we have to consider at least a possibility.
Highly probable.
Man, that kid is something else.
But
yeah, I think he'll get there, Lucas. I think Ricky is certainly going to get to $1 million in career earnings from the PDGA.
Yeah, which is pretty sick that we're getting to that point, because I don't think many people would have guessed that earlier in your guys' probably career with how much you guys were getting for wins.
Well, didn't Bruce led the state in cash one year with it was like something stupid, like $180 or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
We had that as one of our games on our other show, and
yeah,
I think Bruce, it was like $160.
Oh my God.
Not even an entry fee now.
Yeah, now that won't even get me to an A tier.
Before we move into y'all's mid-season player of the years, on the men's side, I do want to talk to you about this new proposed rule change. All right. And this was the excessive time allowed timeouts. It's 802.03. And essentially what the change is saying that you can have up to two timeouts per round. And when they are taken, the timeout period expires once the player indicates the card that they are ready to throw, or when the group notes that 60 seconds has expired and notifies the player. So they basically can have a timeout for 60 seconds made at any time, twice per round. Who wants to take this one? Because Smitty, yeah, I can tell you are ready. Go ahead.
I think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So dumb, man. I mean, I don't even think we need this stupid 30-second rule. We just need to play disc golf. Some shots take more than 30 seconds, and if some dude's crawling in a bush, okay, prime example. Coming down the stretch, Rick shanked one and ended up inside of a tree. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was an octopus tree. And Rick was way over 30 seconds trying to figure out how the heck he was going to take a legal lie, right? So he wanted to be pissed that he's in this tree already, trying to figure out, hey guys, time out here. I need to, dude, let's just play disc golf and let's do it like ball golf. If you're not keeping up, then put the clock on, put the card on a clock, and let's get them going. We don't need this other stupid stuff, man. And give me a break, Ronnie. What do you think?
Fixing the wrong problem, right?
Yeah.
Fixing the wrong problem. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I never thought when we started this show we would talk so much about the 30-second or now timeout 60-second rule. I mean, the amount of times we've had to discuss this has been absurd. Well, I mean, what if nobody saw me call timeout?
Is this timeout or is this timeout?
Yeah, 30-second or full, you know?
I'm with you. Just good grief. I hope I never have to talk about this rule again.
Yeah,
but I said that the last 6 times we talked about it. So
yeah, I'll find a way to get it in there.
Okay, hey, how about this though, man? You know what rule we haven't talked about in like 4 minutes?
You'll jinx it.
We haven't talked about it in 4 minutes. You know, I mean, you know why? Because they enforced it.
Oh.
No, they enforced it. People weren't showing up. They got dinged, and that was a big deal.
Yeah.
So
they're like, okay, they're serious about this.
Yeah, what's a situation where they fix the right problem?
There's the fix. Call the rule, fix the rule, play disc golf. Don't do this stupid thing with your damn rosin bag 85 times. You don't need to do that. Just figure it out and go. I do like when he does that though, so I can see the win.
I do love it. Actually, if I really want to do it, but I don't really want to copy him either. But like, it's cool. So I'm still doing my grass thing, but still, I do want to do it sometimes.
I'm not gonna say I like seeing him do it.
I've been doing that. I've been doing it for 20 years. I just kick the ground. I just look to see which way the dirt goes.
Okay, that's nice.
Now, when I get done with the round, I'm the dirtiest son of a gun out there, but I know which way the wind's blowing.
Yeah, in some unsanctioned tournaments, sometimes there's smoke that will tell you which way it's going. It's really helpful. Well, great discussion, boys. Let's jump into a new segment just for this episode. Mid-season player of the year. So on the men's side, on the MPO side, we are going to have you both state your case for who you think is the mid-season player of the year. More than likely, you're probably going to choose the same one. I don't know, but we'll find out here. So let's talk about first who the big 3 are. Who do we think is, or maybe 5? How many do you think are in the running for player of the year so far this year?
I think that we probably have 5. I mean, we'll throw candidates out there. Obviously, you got the Iceman Gannonberg. He's definitely in the mix.
Yeah, and
Ricky, captain consistency, and he got a win this week. I think you have to look at AB. AB's got 3 wins. Kind of dominated the first 6 weeks or so of the tour.
Calvin,
gotta go, Vinny. Yeah,
Calvin's got to be right up there. He's got 2 wins.
Yeah,
and a bunch of near misses too.
I'm gonna throw in K2.
Kyle Klein. I mean, yeah,
he's consistent too.
Yeah, like Lucas said, I mean, it doesn't necessarily always look flashy, but he's often right there. I think I read a stat today. He's got 7 top 10s already this year, or 8 top 10s this year. So
he's sneaky with it. Like, I just never see his name. It's weird. Like, he's always there, but he's just like, how is he so? He's very, very sneaky. You know, how is he that sneaky? I don't know. Impressive though.
Right on. So Are
I think that's a
we
good 5. Yeah, I think that's a
in
good 5.
agreement with those 5? Okay.
All right, I'll accept that.
Yeah, I like those. I like those. So, well, I'm going to start with Gannon-Burr. Some reasons why I think Gannon-Burr should get serious consideration for Player of the Year at this point in the year. Now, this is going to change a lot by the end. He's probably going to end up winning it because he's going to win everything from here on out. But this dude has 12 starts. He's played all the events. He's got 3 wins, 11 top 10s. Never finished outside of the top 20. That's good disc golf, man.
That's stupid disc golf. That's incredible.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's some Gannon-Burr stats. And I actually have stats for all 5 of these.
So
Okay.
you're saying 92% of the time he's finishing in the top 10.
That's wild. But Rick can't be too far behind him in that kind of statistic, and it's not like Barella's all that far behind with 3 wins as well. I think AB's got 8 or 9 top 10s this year as well. So
I can tell you.
with 3 wins, with 3
Yes,
victories.
sir.
So I think right now, Gannon-Burr's probably leading in the Player of the Year race. We still have half a year to go. I'm not going to count out. I'm not going to count Anthony Barella out just yet. We're getting ready to go back to Europe, where we know one kind of got away from him last year. So if AB were to stick his nose up there with 4 wins and one of them is a major, that could change a lot of stuff, in my opinion.
Let me throw you some more stats here. I did a little work on this afternoon. Okay. So let's look at Anthony Barella. Anthony Barella has also played every event, 12 starts. Like you said, 3 wins. He's got 8 top 10s, which is incredible. But along with those 8 top 10s, he also has 2 finishes outside of the top 30. Something that the Iceman doesn't have. Okay. So now let's look at Rick a little bit. Rick's got 11 starts. Remember, he skipped the Open at Austin to pack up to go to Texas States or whatever. He just got his first win yesterday. 9 top 10s and 11 starts. That's nuts, man.
Yeah, 82%.
And he hasn't finished outside of the top 20.
You want me to interject? Do you want to keep going?
Oh, go ahead.
I'll say this: on the ones where AB's missed, and even the one where Rick's missed the top, do we care how they finish if they don't finish in the top 5?
No, not necessarily.
Because we'll just use get a couple of just an example like we were talking about earlier. Does it really matter if they finish 14th or 41st? They're inside the cash line, and I'm not going to say if you're not first, you're last kind of mentality, but there's a lot of those guys with that mentality out there, especially the guys that we're talking about at the top of the food chain. Those guys are out there to do one thing, and that's to hoist that trophy at the end of the week. And anything short of that, they don't care when they finish, I don't think.
No, yeah, I'm with you. Once they're out of it, their give a crap probably is turned off, and they're probably trying to pull off the hero shot a lot.
Yeah, too much hero ball instead of where they could maybe just lay up and finish 13th in a week instead of 21st or something like that, or 25th.
Yeah,
but those stats, but the stats you're talking about with Rick and Gannon-Burr are ridiculous. To just absolutely live inside the top 10 in the current state of the Disc Golf Pro Tour is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, AB's got eight top 10s. That's
out of 12.
Yeah. 8 out of 12. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's right there too, 67%. So I mean it's pretty incredible, man. to be inside the top 10 like that is just crazy. So, and you know how I feel about Gannon. He pisses me off most of the time, but man, that's cool.
He can be frustrating as hell, right? I mean, he really can be, but his talent is undeniable. And a lot of his, even when he's got 3 wins, but he's in it every week, dude. He's not just
Every week.
He's just not finishing the top 10. That dude is in it with 9 holes to go. He's in it almost every week.
8 top
He is a-
fives. 8 top fives.
8 top 5s. Yeah, see, this dude is a lock in Survivor. Like, if you ever want to win one week, pick Gannon. You know what I mean? It's been that way. It's crazy.
So if the season ended, boom, the preserve was it. Okay. I'm saying Gannon Burr, player of the year. I'm saying he wins in pretty dominating fashion. No doubt about it in my mind. But then I'm going Rick, then Dog, then AB, Kyle Klein in that order.
Ooh.
I think what's going to hurt Anthony if he doesn't win again is the fact that he won so early. It's like college football.
Yep.
You gotta win late.
Recency bias, sure. That very well could hurt him. I think there's a good chance that all those guys we just mentioned figure out a way to win another one before this year's over. And depending on which tournament that they win, that could really change our perspective on any of those guys. If any of these guys are a world champion, I mean, maybe that's enough to put any of them over the top. So
you're right.
Okay, so let's say
we still have the bulk of our biggest events left this year.
let's say Isaac Robinson doesn't win an event, but he comes and he pops out and he wins Worlds again, repeats. And then he goes and he wins USDGC. So he has 2 wins, and the rest of the time he just kind of plays where he's at right now. I mean,
Player of the year.
yeah, why not, right?
No question. Yeah,
It's crazy.
that's what's great about our sport, though, is all of our biggest events are backloaded. They're from the middle of the summer on, right? Which will lead you to that recency bias you're talking about. That's why look at how much we raved over Isaac the last year, because what he did from about right now to the end of the season, he was absolutely unbeatable from Idlewild all the way till the end of the year. You couldn't beat that guy, and he won the biggest event and won 2 or 3 other times. The rest of our season is still to be written, but obviously I'm with you. If it ended today, I don't know how you couldn't give it to Gannon Burr.
And that kid's not going anywhere. Let me tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I'm a little.
If I gave you all 3 majors left to go this season and Gannon Burr or the field, right? So your odds. So the bet is Gannon Burr has to win one of the 3 majors against me, and I get everybody else, right? I get everybody else for the rest of it. And he'll have to win one.
Oh, I'm taking him.
I think. How don't you? I don't know how you don't.
Oh, dude.
It would stun me if he doesn't win one of the 3 majors left to go this season.
That nerd might win them all.
Yeah, he is a little dweeb. Ronnie, do your top 5 of those people we just mentioned. Who would you give it to right now versus who would be, in the order?
I would also have Gannon Burr 1. I think I would probably have Vinny 2. I'd have Barella 3, Wysocki 4, and Kyle Klein. Unfortunately, Kyle's bringing it up at the bottom there, but that's a pretty good. I guess that's a pretty good list to be even included in. So
Yeah.
Well, you're only the 5th best disc golfer in the world.
it's nothing he's done to find himself that low on that list. But I mean, he's kind of fighting against the biggest dogs in the world there. So mine would be a little bit different from Smitty's, but I agree with you. I think it would be Gannon Burr by a pretty fair margin, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, Smitty, remind me, how many wins does Vinny have this year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's no doubt. 2.
Back to back.
back to back.
See, I think
And
I put AB in the second just because I like how he's going for it, right? Like that's why he's not having those same consistency finishes. But 3 wins on the Disc Golf Pro Tour is pretty impressive, and it's early. So I go Gannon first, AB second, Vinny, Rick, Cockline.
The only thing that would really changes my thought process on that is in one of those. Let's not forget Anthony Barella stared Gannonburg down at Texas State. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's all
It's
you know,
very close.
razor thin, and the rest of the season will determine for us. I mean, yeah,
And-
it's pretty close.
the final boss, as Philo calls him, is probably finally healthy. Right? He didn't play Waco.
Without-
He shouldn't have played. He should not have played Music City. He knew that was going to be terrible for him. He was obviously hurt at chess.com. He wasn't himself. So, yeah, I mean, look at, like you said, this is going to be so much fun this last half. I can't wait.
It is, man.
Too bad I got to go back to work and can't just sit and watch it all day on Fridays.
Oh, we feel so sorry for you.
You should.
All right, boys. Well, I think it's time. Let's move into our next segment, which is, of course, our weekly picks. And so we didn't have a live show, or we didn't have a show, so you didn't get to see who we picked. So let's talk about that now. So I do want to just remind everyone again, I'm coming off a victory. All right. Second time it's happened this year. It's probably not going to happen again, but you know what? We can always dream. So our stink, Ronnie and me both said Casey White. And Smitty said Andrew Presnell. And we have been stinking on our stinks all year. We put 2 people inside the top 20. Prezi got 10th and Casey got 19th. No one deserved a green on that one.
What?
So me and Ronnie took
Lucas,
the yellow.
why did we this is obviously a little bit biased by our co-host there, but why did we not get a green?
Top
think
20
it's 'cause they were
doesn't stink,
top 20.
homie.
What's his average finish?
Who, Casey?
Yeah.
26.
All right, we'll allow it.
Yeah.
All right. So Smitty with the early red and me and Ronnie with the yellows. Let's see how we did on the sleeper. You want to say something, Smitty?
Yeah, I'm trying to win that Roadhouse, boys. I am not playing around.
You're getting closer and closer.
Doing my
All right.
best.
All right. Ronnie for the sleeper said Ben Calloway, which is a solid pick after the first round.
Woo! He was feeling it too. You should see my messages.
And then
I really didn't know who I'd picked. I think
Smitty
Callaway all
said-
the time is my sleeper.
is that Austin Turner?
That is.
Austin Turner. And the best picture ever of Kevin Keeper. It's not pixelated whatsoever.
I couldn't find a good one of the dude, man. That's-
Well, let's see how things
Okay.
shook out. Oh, Ben Calloway finished outside of the top 20 in 38th, Austin Turner 56th, and Kevin Kiefer 48. But somehow Lucas did his research and got the green because he knew Kevin wasn't doing great this year and would probably do better than your guys' choices. Smitty, tell me how those stats broke down.
well, I can see Ronnie's Mattern Walrus is a toothache right now.
First of all,
So let me
hold on.
Let me
Before
go
we
ahead.
get into the statistics.
You do your stuff, and then I'll tell you why you got a yellow.
No.
Lucas got a green.
I don't mind the yellow. What I want to know is why Lucas got a green for a guy who I don't even know who it is. Finished 48th place.
You know who that is.
Not by the picture, I don't. I thought it was Evan Smith or Evan
You're saying
whatever.
Evan Scott.
Evan
Might
Scott.
be.
Aiden Scott, yeah, he's just one of those.
It might be.
That's honest. I'm not. I'm not being. I'm not trying to be funny. That's honestly who I thought it was.
Yeah, that's old Kevin Kiefer the third.
who finished exactly on his average finish for the year, 48th place. Green.
My man.
Because Ben Calloway, who finished 38th, has averaged 35th place. That's worse, Ronnie. That's worse.
I'm walking out.
And
Yeah.
Austin Turner got red.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm going to take it. I do have a strange taste in my mouth, Ronnie, but I'm still going to take the green. Sorry about that, pal.
You're about to get a stoplight, homie.
And here we go. Me and
no, you're
Smitty
not.
said the Rickster, and Ronnie went with 2K, K2, and man, they went 1 and 2. We did great with our shines this week.
How many times you guys get to pick Ricky every year?
Hey, that's my first time ever, I promise.
Oh.
Dude, you say this about whoever I pick. You're gonna pick.
I don't know that
Rick.
Ricky-
You're gonna pick Cal.
I don't know that you picked any one of those two guys.
I think
Why
he's picked
would you?
Paul once.
Why would you?
Why
We're
would
trying to
you?
pick the winner of the tournament. I'll tell you what. I'll pick somebody different, and I'll let you have Kyle Klein again on the next one.
This is the first 3 yellows. Is that the first banana
I think
tree right there?
You got a banana.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else is bananaed.
You should be
That's a
proud
great
of yourself.
banana. Speaking of proud of yourself, hey everyone, 2 wins in a row. You know, when you don't win a lot, you talk about them a lot more.
This so who finished second here? Smitty because he had a win and 2 DNFs, or me because I finished in the top 3 twice?
Oh, you definitely got second.
Yeah, dude. I'll give
Not
the
even
banana
close.
over the. Oh yeah, I'll take that. I'll let you have
As long as I beat Smitty, I can accept.
that.
Well, we're not going to do choices. We're not going to do picks for the European. What was it? What's coming up? The Swedish Open.
Swedish Open.
We're not doing that one. We're going to save picks for the Des Moines Challenge. But you know what we did have? He did win it last year, right? But we do have the new Survivor League that just came into play, and we got to talk about it. So, as you all know, Ronnie is a 2-time runner-up. Smitty and I are people that lose fairly early.
We make it 2 weeks.
So none of the win dummies have won yet. So Ronnie, you need to win this time because you know me and Smitty are getting out pretty soon. All right. So here we go. Survivor League 3.0. 15 people joined in. Well, 12 others besides us 3. And this week, boys, we had quite a few people pick the same player. And they were all correct with this pick. But let's take a look. Every one of these people, I think this was almost 80% of the people chose Ricky Wysocki. So Smitty got him, Schmidt, Patsy, Tyson, Ronnie, Sean, Shafe, Kyle, me, Daniel, Dixon, and Aaron all chose Ricky. You can't choose Ricky again now, but we all have advanced. But there were 3 people who did not choose Ricky, and every single one of them are deucing out. So let's see who we're losing before we even got to say hello. First of all, Jason Zimmerman chose Mason Ford. And Mason finished 28th, so it wasn't the worst pick in the world, but definitely not a top 15. But there was a bad pick. And it was Troy Smart, who did not seem very smart with this pick. Ezra Aderhold, who finished 93rd. But there was a worse choice than that because Wild Bill himself chose Calvin Heimberg. He did not play. See you later.
We're not paying your way in. You gotta read. You gotta do your homework, buddy.
Well, I got to be honest. There's only one of those picks there. Well, I started to say there's only one of those picks there that's not good. Obviously, picking a guy who didn't play is not good. But and Ezra Aderhold that's a pretty surprising.
That's a
finish.
good pick.
Let's-
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But however,
93rd.
on week one, if you didn't pick Ricky or Gannon, you don't deserve to be in this game any longer anyway.
Yeah, you have to understand that the goal is to survive. Do not try to hedge your bets. Don't try to keep someone in your pocket. Play that sucker, or you're going to get gone. That's what happened to me first time I played. Chris Dickerson deuced me.
Just listen to Lucas. He's good for 2 weeks.
Exactly. I got
He
two
knows
good
the
players.
strategy.
Woo. All right. Well, Jason, Loff, Troy, thanks for joining. Thanks for your money.
Oh, I love it, man.
I'm sure whoever beats me when it gets down to two people is going to enjoy their $30.
Oh. All right, boys. What a fun show. Really, really enjoyed it. Any shout outs we want to give for the week?
Oh, there you go. How about a little Waffle shout out? Shout out to the however many people we got left in the Waffle. What do we got? 8 people left with a chance to win the Waffle, something like that.
I think we got a little more than that. We got.
But the Waffle, the for those that don't know, the Wichita Area Match Play League is it's in full swing. So I'm personally trying to do something that's never been done before, and that's lose match number 1 and win 8 straight in a row to bring home the trophy. So
Ooh.
I'm halfway there.
We got Junod, who's undefeated. He'll play Luke and Nick, the winner of that match. We've got Camru, who's going to play the winner. Who's going to play you because you already beat Jacob.
Correct.
We've got myself, who's going to play the winner of Munru and Heckman. There's a lot of Unrus still alive.
Dude, do you know Heckman is super injured and he's beating everyone? Dude's got a torn calf muscle.
It's going to stop
beaten
this week.
He hasn't beaten everyone.
Beaten like 3 people, hasn't he?
Oh,
Yeah, but
all that is this week.
All right.
Oh, this is interesting. Unruh is the one that sent him to the losers bracket.
Oh, rematch, just like Ronnie had with Harmon.
Yep. And then we have the defending champ going up against Caleb and Wiggins. Played already?
I don't think they played yet.
Oh, they played. Wiggins sent Caleb into the losers bracket.
Imagine. That's the best part about the double elimination. The old revenge factor that comes in. So
And then we have the tinfoil.
I got one of them.
We got the tinfoil, but nobody cares.
That thing's still happening? Who knew?
Well, boys and everyone else, I'm going to be having some baby girls that are going to be here Friday. So shout out to my wife, who's been getting just kicked every single day, not by me, but the babies have not been kind to her. They want out, and so Friday we're going to have the babies, and I can't wait.
Congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. It'll go faster than you think. I promise you that.
Yeah, gonna have as much fun as possible. But boys, we're gonna go into our 19th hole, and right here we show what we think is the best shot of the tournament. Tell us if you agree. Until the next one, we'll see you then. Take care. Bye now.
Peace.
Really pulls a drive right. Does he end up with a birdie just like he did last year? Why not? Oh my God, he does. This man can't get away with a bad throw. Like, he just won't get punished. What a putt.
Center on the stripe.
On it. Perfect.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Nice acknowledgement of the crowd, and